So I made a video, what was it, 2 days ago, where I detailed just a little bit of what I've endured for doing disclosure being it's generally taboo, forbidden knowledge. Like obviously the Dan Brown situation in Exeter, New Hampshire, not wanting to have me as one of their hometown heroes, you know. And my friend Robert was kind enough to say that to him I was a superhero. I thought that was pretty cool. I said, "Oh shucks," because what else is there to say, really? But the day before, I'd been in Exeter. I've been going out more than usual recently because I'm trying to rehabilitate my thoroughly broken back. And 2 days ago, I was in Exeter, and yeah, like I said in the other video, I told the guy that I was guaranteed to see some interesting people when I left, because I know what goes on when you're feuding with a billionaire. Even if you call him your friend, you enter into a different world, especially if you're poor, you know. And I, as an individual, am poor, living the life worth writing about was a path that nobody wants to go on. You know, you wouldn't want to be the public face of any of the knowledge which I'm putting forth, and I don't blame you. But yeah, when I left that appointment, I heard something up in the sky, and I was like, I'll open the door and look for 2 seconds, and this unique plane went over. And unique means not something you ordinarily see. I like vagueness at times. And I was like, yeah, I see you too. And then there was that license plate that said Lucifer. And it was a predetermined path that I was going on, that anyone position of any actual power would know. So you know, like Dan says, there's no such thing as coincidence. So yesterday I made was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I made the video about some of the horrible things that have been done to me and my family as well, because of the situation and how they give me the stick and not the carrot. And I mentioned 3 of the planes. I posted photographs of 2 of them. I'll draw out a map of the direction they were going in, and also the 3rd one, which I mentioned. So those are 3 of about, if I said 100, it would be on the low side. I mean, I've basically become a tourist destination for what you people probably call the elites. And you know, I made it clear that shaking my air conditioner loose, flying 2 cargo planes over my house, whatever they were, bombers, whatever they had in them that knocked out my air conditioner, and put a burn on my cheek while my daughter was in my hands. While my baby daughter was in my hands, you did this. You don't know how lucky you are that I'm a nice guy, that I'm like a really, really good guy. I'm a really good guy. I really am. far better than you'll ever know. It was October 14th of 2016. On the 15th, I had a fever in the barn, and on the 16th, I can't remember, but I had two interactions with basically two abduction experiences, as they say, in that period of time, in the 2 weeks that followed. I ended up in the ER after one of them with holes in my hand, and the ER took 5 extra vials of blood and sent them off to they wouldn't say where. And then I asked for them to send me the medical records, and they didn't. They did not. So I don't know where it went. And I mentioned recently that if people lose your blood, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you go to a laboratory, they take your blood, and if they lose it, you can be reimbursed for the blood, the cost of the test or whatever, but that's it. And you know, that's your blood, you know. Like, if that's not corruption, and like it's like designed so that they can lose your blood. No, they could lose your blood and plant it at a crime scene. They could lose your blood and drink it. They could inject it into somebody else. They could run. They could have fumbled everyone's test for a month in both directions, right? I mean, oops, I dropped this vial of blood. Oh, I'll put it here, and then every other one gets shuffled into the wrong place. Actually, that was a different place where they lost it. It was just one vial, but you know, there's not a lot of recourse when you're dealing with when it's clear that you're dealing with people like this. Nobody wants to help. You know, the lawyers all want to slither back into the den of vipers and be with the side of the elites, which unfortunately is too often it's corrupt. That's why God sends people like me. I use the word people loosely because I don't even know what people are. What do they have in common that they're even a person, let alone to be people? You know what I mean? It's a good question. But yeah, so I'm actually in Exeter right now, but this morning the epicenter of an earthquake was in Exeter, and I got some pictures when I went out for a walk around 12:30 of either a huge plane and like 3 smaller planes, or in the pictures it just looks like a huge UFO with some smaller ones. I mean, the same kind as the Nimitz one that was not in San Diego in 2004. It was at my house on October 20th, 2017. So I don't know. I don't know if people are ever going to figure it out. I think there's like atheists and ignorant people with no knowledge of science. It's 3:33 on my clock, which is fortunately fast. But there's people who, like, they're gluttons for punishment. They're usually like rich people, you know, like they have their underground bunkers and they have everything. So I mean, if you know, they'd be as godless as they can be and just like poke the bear and do evil and not care, because, like, you know, when God shows up, or the goddess or the gods or whatever it is, the divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. It's the stupidest argument. When you say God, what do you mean by, I mean God. Which God? God. Anyway, let's get a nice shot of the sun there. You saw, I don't know if you saw the pictures of those planes or UFOs, but those things were loud. And I said, when I met the guys from Middle Earth on July 25th, they said, the earth will shake, and the streets will run red. It's all about water. And I told you guys this over and over again since then. Yeah. Well, I guess they just don't care. They just want to poke the bear. And you know what? I made a part 2 yesterday and I deleted it. But all it said basically was, I know rich people got friends. You can buy friends when you're rich. And I said, I got friends too. You just won't see them unless you have to. And the guys from Middle Earth I met on July 25th. I don't know. The earthquake was like, what, 6.7 kilometers underground? That was the epicenter in Exeter.